Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mila Clark Buckley, the Hangry Woman, and today I am talking about something interesting and diabetes related and COVID related. I think it's really interesting that the New York Times came out with this basically what's your place in line for the COVID vaccine site today? I've thought about this a lot, and I've thought about when the vaccine happens, what to do, how long would it take, where would I be, how fast could I get it, all of those questions. And so they came out with basically a roadmap or pathway where you can answer a bunch of questions to kind of figure out what your estimated place in line is. It's based on a few different factors. So it's based on your age, it's based on where you live, it's based on whether or not you have a comorbidity or chronic illness of some sort that leaves you more vulnerable. It also takes into account whether or not you're an essential worker, and you basically fill out these few questions and then you find out what your estimated place in line is and why. So I thought that it would be interesting for me because as someone who is just over 30, has a chronic illness, I'm not an essential worker and lives in a state and county where the cases are pretty high. I wanted to see what my potential place in line would be. So that's what we're doing today. And it's gonna be interesting and fun, and I hope that you enjoy this video. I think that this is just a really good informational video, and if you're curious, I'll leave the link down below so that you can take the survey yourself and see where you stand in line. I thought that my results were interesting. I've already done them, but I'm going to show you how to get there and how to do it. So let's go over to my computer and you're gonna watch me do it. All right, so here's my browser and my screen, and we're just gonna walk through it. So Find Your Place in the Vaccine Line by Stuart A. Thompson. And I really love the illustrations on this. It's pretty cute. So it basically says a vaccine may be here around the corner, but how long will it be until you get the shot? Health officials are considering vaccine timelines that give some Americans priority over others. If you're a healthy American, you may wait many months for your turn. To put this into perspective, we've worked with the Sergo Foundation and the Ariadne Labs using their vaccine tool to calculate the number of people who will need to get a vaccine in each state and county and where you might fit in that line. So you go in and you tell them about yourself. So how old am I? I am 31 years old. And then what county do I live in? Harris County, Texas. Pops up very fast. It asks you if you work in any of these essential worker professions. So healthcare worker, essential worker, first responder, or teacher. I'm none of these, so keeping none of these as the option for me. And then, do you have COVID-related health risks, which include increased risk of COVID death, so heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, or other immunocompromised conditions? Yes, I do. I have type 1 diabetes, type 1.5 diabetes, LADA, which is latent autoimmune diabetes in adults, a slow onset form of type 1. So yes, I do. And then you hit submit, and your information is not stored in this, so you don't have to worry about that. And based on my personal risk profile, I'm in line behind 23 million people across the US and behind 1.9 million people who are at risk in Texas. That's actually really interesting. In Harris County, I'm behind 314,200 others, which Harris County, I believe, is somewhere near 6 million people. So that's actually pretty fast, I would guess. And it says that the line in Texas was represented by about 100 people. This is where you would be standing. So I guess I'd be 31st-ish in line. We can count them. I'm not gonna count them, but I'm not that far in line in comparison. So here are the healthcare workers, people in nursing homes, first responders, and then of all these people with health risks, I would be in the line here. And then there's the elderly, more essential workers. Teachers actually come after immunocompromised people in this data set. The homeless, prisoners, young adults are really close to last on the list, as well as children. And then more essential workers, and then practically everyone else. So what it says is that the order outlined is one possibility, combining proposals by the CDC and the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices and the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. The final order is not determined and depends on successful vaccines for each group. So children might get skipped if vaccines aren't approved for people under 18, and states could set their priorities but would probably follow CDC recommendations. So, I mean, it's also pretty incredible that we have effective vaccines at all at this time point and period, because COVID's only been around at this point for what, 9 months, from March to December. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see if the vaccines work, when they work, how people react to them, all of that. But you can go and you can read more in the article about this. I also want to state that like this video is just informational in nature. I thought that this was really interesting and I was curious about where my own place in line would be. This is not to tell you what to do with your own life. This is just basically like, I thought this data set was informational as someone with a chronic illness who like is ready for COVID to be over so that I can actually like go back into the world and actually have a life again and not be judged by the fact that I do have a chronic illness and not have people telling me that I should either stay home inside or die. I think it's good that this data set is out there and that there's the ability to kind of like estimate it and understand it with true data in hand and in mind. So that's it for this video. Honestly, it was gonna be a really short one anyway because I just wanted to show people that this exists. Like I said, I will leave the link down below so that you can do this survey yourself if you're up for it. I think it's just a really interesting overall piece of information, and that's what I think it is. It's information. So I would be curious if you take it, what it says your place in line is, and what you think about that. So leave that in the comments and I am looking forward to seeing your responses. All right, so that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you were interested in this information, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and until next time.